The world of fairy tales. Thumbelina. Thumbelina was a little girl who was born in a tulip flower. She was so tiny that she slept in a walnut shell for a cradle, on a quilt of violet petals. Late one night, an old toad found her. "What a pretty little girl she is," the toad croaked. "And wouldn't she make the sweetest little wife for my son, though?" The toad picked up the cradle, Thumbelina and all, and went waddling off to her hole. For safekeeping, she put little Thumbelina on a lily pad in the pond. One day, a white butterfly came to Thumbelina and said, "You are much too pretty to marry an ugly frog. Let me hold your ribbon, and I will tow you away from here." The fishes in the pond nibbled through the stalk of the lily pad, and Thumbelina went sailing off. All summer long, Thumbelina lived happily in the forest. She was not lonely, for the flowers kept her company. She made herself a little hammock, where she would sit and listen to the birds sing. Best of all, she loved to watch the swallows as they soared and swooped, twittering merrily all the while. But one day the swallows flew away. Summer was passing, and soon it would be winter. The flowers faded, and the wind whirled the leaves from the trees. The snow began to fall. Thumbelina wandered through the forest. Where could she find a place to hide from the cold? At last she came out into meadow, where she saw a snug little cottage belonging to an old field mouse. "Oh, poor little thing," said the mouse. "Come in and warm yourself. If you will talk to me cheerfully and help me sweep and spin, why, then you may stay with me all winter long." At first, Thumbelina was happy, for the field mouse treated her kindly. But before long, the mouse took it into her head that Thumbelina ought to get married. "There's our neighbor, the mole. You'd be a lucky girl indeed, if only you could marry him, now. He's very rich and very learned, and, I think he's taken a fancy to you. Of course, you'd have to stay underground all the time, for he can't abide the sun. But you'll not miss a little thing like that once you've settled down in that splendid hole of his. It's the envy of the whole neighborhood." Soon the mole invited them for a visit. "There's a dead bird in my passage, but don't let that frighten you, my dear. Foolish things, birds all that they do is sing." But the bird was not dead at all, only faint from hunger and cold. It was one of the swallows that Thumbelina had loved so much. She fed it and cared for it, and by the time spring came, it was strong enough to fly away into the sunlight. Thumbelina did not want to marry the mole and live in the dark, but the old mouse insisted, and besides, she had no other place to go. On the last day of summer, she went to say farewell to the world of light. "Goodbye, bright sun," she said. "I shall never see your face again." Then, she heard a familiar twittering, and a swallow swooped down beside her. "Hurry, and get on my back. You saved my life, and now I will take you with me to the sun's own home in the south." They flew and flew, over mountains and valleys and rivers, until at last they came to a warm land of blue sea and blossoms. "Here is my home," the swallow said. "And here, I think, we shall find a home for you." He set her down in a beautiful garden. In each flower there was a tiny, dainty little man or woman, just like herself. "I am the king of the flower spirits," said the handsomest of the little men. "Marry me, and be my queen." "You must have a prettier name," the others said. "From now on, we shall call you Maya." So Thumbelina became the queen of the flower spirits. The swallow sang, the sun shone, and all was happiness and light.
My dear friends, please like and subscribe my YouTube channel for more interesting lessons.